Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast with myself, Joseph Clough. Hope you're doing absolutely wonderful, and there's going to be a very, very small audio podcast, but it's ultimately something I've been thinking about in my life quite a lot recently, and how I myself, and also you, how you can actually build cages in your mind. That's right, cages in your mind, and by this I mean how we can create our own limitations and restrictions. For example, we can say things like, I need to, or I have to carry out this, or I really just have to commit to this, or any kind of commitment that you make, in other words. So you're ultimately saying that I have to fulfill a certain need in my life. But my question to you is, do we really need to though? Let's take my own life for example. I have to do certain things. I have to make sure I record this new audio project of mine, and it's going to take well over 20 hours, and I've got to complete it in the next few weeks. Let alone all my seminars and trainings I've got coming up in the next 3 months, plus all my usual daily work, like all my emails, creating free audios and videos for you all. And then we have just my own personal time as well, which is incredibly important. So I've felt quite overwhelmed and, to be honest, completely fatigued in my mind and body in the last 2-3 weeks now. But I know I'm not alone. I am sure you have certain things you have to or you need to do. Because life happens, right? We can feel like a slave to do certain things, or to be a certain person that can create feelings of maybe inconvenience. It can create friction in our life, or we can feel as if those commitments are controlling our own happiness, peace, and ultimate joy in life. So they can limit our own ideals of what we desire in life. But let's get back to building cages in our minds. There may be some things you have to do. Not paying the credit card bill can create big repercussions in the future. Not picking up your children from school is not going to be doing you much favors, and absolutely your child. So there are certain things we have to do. But my point is to be conscious of this, and also know that there are a lot of things that you do that you don't have to do. But we create those cages of need and have to. I want you to notice them. I want you to filter them into either like asking yourself a question, do I need to do X, Y, or Z? Or am I just creating the perception of need? Am I creating this self-imposed ideal of how I've got to be or something that I've got to achieve? So ultimately, if you go back to what I was saying about my own life, I do not have to record this new project so intensely and timely. I don't have to create content so religiously. But I do have to be there on my seminar. People just turning up, having paid their money, will not be happy whatsoever if I'm not there to speak my message and to help them. So there are some commitments which I have to do, but there are some things that I'm choosing to do. So by me and you being conscious of the difference between the absolute have to and the ones that we choose to do is really, really important. I believe the majority of our life will fall into the latter choice of ultimately we choose to do certain things, but we can build them into the have to and feel caged by them. Does that make sense? So ultimately, we convince ourselves that we have to do something or we have to be a certain way in life. Whether that be society saying something, or whether we feel as if we've got to please certain people, or maybe we have goals in our mind that we become so fixated on for many, many years that we think, I have to do this. I have to be this person, or I've got to achieve X, Y, Z. And a lot of those thoughts can be very past built into us. But the key is that I want you to know you do not have to do. You can choose to cut certain things out of your life, or to cut out some of those self-imposed need to or have to. We can cut out those self-imposed obligations. It is a choice. And the more you're conscious of this, the more free and liberated you will be. If you still want to do those things, that's absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. If you want to still go for that goal, or you still want to be a certain type of person, or you want to fulfill commitments, that is absolutely fine. That's really not the point of the audio. Ultimately, the point is to know that you have the choice behind the commitment that you're making. Once you become conscious of that choice, we no longer self-impose these ideals of having to be a certain way or to do certain things. It gives us freedom. It goes to a point like ultimately saying in our mind, well, okay, do I have to do this? Well, not necessarily, but I'm okay and I want to do this. There's something that I want to do and it's a choice that I'm making. When you come about in that mindset, you feel liberated. You feel as if I'm in control now because you realize the difference between what you have to do, what you want to do, and what you just don't have to do anymore. So ultimately, it's about being conscious of the choices you make. Ultimately, I believe that life is a choice. It's full of them. The more we know about the choices that we're making, the more freedom and power we have to gain a life of meaning, rather a life of obligation. So I hope that makes sense to you. Ultimately, I'm saying is that you just need to be conscious of your desires. You have to be conscious of the choices you make. You have to be conscious of that I need to or I have to compared to I want to. Because you don't have to do many things. There are certain things, like I said, you will have certain obligations because you've tied down into something. Say, for example, if you've paid for something, the credit card company want you to pay that back. So there is a certain obligation and commitment there. But there are many things in life which we don't have to feel obligated. We don't have to cage ourselves in as if I've got to do this or I've got to be this person. When you become conscious that you don't have to or you don't need to, then it comes back to the choice that you're making to do certain things. For example, in the next few months, I'm going to make some big, brave decisions in my life about the quality of the life that I'm leading, about my desires of where I want to be, who I want to be as a person. And I know now it is a choice. And I've always known that, but literally with all these projects happening and my desires to want to help people has fatigued me. It has made me, you could say, an effect of life briefly. Like, well, I have to do this. It's out of my control. But the key is to realize that you can be the cause of your life. So taking responsibility so you don't have to be an effect. And that's the real key point. Choice. You have choice. And it's always your choice. If you choose to do, fine. If you choose not to do certain things, fine. It doesn't really matter to myself or other people. The key is if it matters to you. And realize you don't want to create those cages in your mind when you don't need to. So filter those two lists. Do I need to do this or am I choosing to do it? The more you're aware of this, the more freedom and the more liberated that you will feel in life. So I hope you enjoyed that. For more information about me, go ahead and visit my website, josephclough.com, and also my Facebook page, which I give lots of competitions there, as well as on Twitter as well as lots of cool pictures of inspiration, quotes, videos, audios, all manner of wonderful things. And you can go and visit my website, my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Joseph's fan page, and twitter.com/Joseph Clough. So have a wonderful weekend, and I look forward to speaking to you very, very soon. Many thanks, and goodbye.